Okay, committee members and participants, we are now live and we can start with Philip Green's testimony.
Mr. Philip Green, can you please redo your testimony, please?
Sure thing. Hello, everyone. My name is Philip Green, and I am the Commercial Corridor Improvements Manager in the Department of Commerce. I'm testifying in support of Bill number 230586 I am sorry, I had the wrong bill pulled up. Here we go. I am testifying in support of Bill
230579.
That's right, to reauthorize the Aramingo Avenue shopping district for an additional 5 years. The legislation includes the Business Improvement District's plan for services and would allow the bid to continue to levy assessment fees on property owners within the district to fund services vital to the area's cleanliness and safety. The Aramingo Avenue bid formed in 2008 as a way for property owners to pay for supplemental services benefiting the shopping area centered at Aramingo and Castor Avenues. The Aramingo bid is unique because it serves mostly big box store developments and strip malls, which are largely owned by real estate companies and out-of-state property owners. These auto-oriented commercial corridors like this in Philadelphia experience a patchwork of cleanliness and mixed maintenance. Sidewalk litter can vary widely from one shopping center to the next, and unmaintained post-industrial parcels can intersperse corridors with blight. The Aramingo shopping district is different, however. The bid serves as a locally based caretaker, maintaining a standard of cleanliness and visual appeal from one end of the corridor to the other. In addition to cleaning services, the bid provides security patrol that helps deter shoplifting, car break-ins, and other criminal activity. Because the bid security staff covers the whole district, they can monitor suspects across shopping centers and proactively alert store managers to incoming concerns. They also respond to a variety of issues stemming from the opioid crisis. For every call to the Aramingo bid security patrol, that's one less call to the city's short-staffed police department. The Commerce Department supports bids like Aramingo Avenue because they are partners on the ground. They link businesses to our grant programs and pass along important communications in times of emergency. For these reasons, I testify in support of the Aramingo bids reauthorization, and I'm happy to take questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll hear from Rolando Sanchez.
All right, we'll try this again. Good morning, Chairperson Johnson and members of the Rules Committee. Again, my name is Rolando Sanchez. I manage the Aramingo Business Improvement District for Impact Community Development Corporation, a 501c3 located 1952 East Allegheny in the heart of Kensington. Impact works to support individuals, families, and communities to build a healthy, safe, and prosperous future. In addition to providing housing to formerly homeless veterans nightly and workforce development services to thousands of people annually, Impact is also intensely focused on community and economic development in Kensington, Harrogate, and Port Richmond. In 2017, Impact published a resident-driven, comprehensive neighborhood plan to outline the structure and set a long-term strategy for equitable neighborhood development in a section of the city, as you all well know, is the center of Philadelphia's opioid crisis. The plan includes a multifaceted approach that includes access to capital, brick and mortar development, partnership with all local stakeholders, and perhaps most importantly, keeping the neighborhood safe and clean. The Aramingo Business Improvement District is an essential factor in maintaining neighborhood stability, safety, cleanliness, and future prosperity. I'm sorry, something was distracting me there, a noise. Covering the 3,300 to 3,900 blocks of Aramingo Avenue, including Castor, Butler, Wheatsheaf Lane, east to Richmond Street, the bid has about 140 individual stores. The Aramingo bid is a mix of big box chain stores and small businesses that serve the immediate neighborhood, but also a regional draw for shoppers. With a projected bid budget of $456,000 for the year 2024, Impact will provide 4 cleaning stores along with equipment and vehicle support. Managing this trash is a Sisyphean task. Thousands of bags of garbage are collected annually. Historically, we have Access 311 and manage short dumping, but the problem has become so pervasive that we have begun to directly clean the debris from illegal dumping ourselves, expanding on short dump removal as part of our activities. The bid also supports our PPD, our Philadelphia Police Department, with security services on the corridor 7 days a week, coordinating and communicating with businesses via the GroupMe app. It's a real-time communication portal which assists in problem solving, including accessing needed resources such as homeless outreach, event promotion and facilitation, coordination with local law enforcement to address things like street racing, and administrative support in organizing bid services. Reports on services, trends, needs, and accomplishments are reported at the Aramingo Business Association meetings. Aggregate annual reports are created and provided to all parcel owners and business operators. For the next 5 years, budgetary resources and focus of the bid are shifting in response to neighborhood trends. As Philadelphia and the nation battle the opioid epidemic, it is essential to the corridor and surrounding communities that the bid remains intact. The homeless population suffering with addiction have identified Aramingo as a place to panhandle and set up encampments. Theft from businesses has also increased as the opioid crisis has escalated. In response to this increase, we have not only enhanced our focus on security services, but we have also established connections with homeless outreach and addiction treatment providers. While the homeless population needs to be treated with dignity, maintaining quality of life and pursuit of commerce is essential for businesses and consumers. Bid services already supplement the extensive city services and greatly assist in managing some of the effects of the opioid crisis. The time is now for businesses, residents, nonprofit organizations, city services, and our elected officials to remain committed to a collective impact, pun intended. We appreciate the assistance provided by 6th District Councilman Mike Driscoll, his Chief of Staff Tom Forkin, and everyone in his office. I humbly request this committee support in reauthorizing the Aramingo Business Improvement District Bill 230579, and thank you for considering my testimony today.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments from members of the committee? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the panel for bill number 230586?
The first panel for bill number 230586 is Philip Green.
Philip, just state your name for the record and please begin your testimony.
Hello, my name is Philip Green. I am testifying in support of bill number 230586 to reauthorize the Chestnut Hill Business Improvement District for an additional 10 years. The legislation includes the bid's plan for services and would allow the bid to continue to levy assessment fees on property owners within the district. The Chestnut Hill bid formed in 2004 as a way for property owners to come together and fund services benefiting their tenant businesses and wider community. Now, 20 years into its work, the bid has proven itself essential to the district's ongoing stability and success. Although the district is at the heart of one of Philadelphia's most affluent neighborhoods, it faces steep competition from online retail, just like any other commercial corridor in the city. Trends show that affluent customers are seeking experiences out of their neighborhood commercial corridors. They want an engaging destination with dining options, beauty and wellness services, entertainment, and niche retail with personalized customer service. Chestnut Hill bid and other bids like it create an experience-rich atmosphere that keeps customers coming back. Chestnut Hill cleans the sidewalks, maintains verdant flower planters, and installs charming holiday decorations. These enhancements make the distance between the customer's parking spot and their hair appointment a memorable place, not just a place to get through. The Chestnut Hill bid also produces exciting events. Their Holidays on the Hill event promotes the district's food scene and specialty retail businesses, and their Fall for the Arts Festival transforms Germantown Avenue into an open-air gallery, attracting thousands of shoppers from across the region. In our new reality of fast, cheap, and easy home-delivered goods, Chestnut Hill bid is guiding its district towards these new experience-centered modes of doing business. For this reason, among many others, I testify in support of their reauthorization. Happy to take questions.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from members of the committee? Hearing
Well,
none.
thank you,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Mr. Chairman. I
Councilwoman
just want
Cindy Bass.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that, listen, the Chestnut Hill bid is an excellent example of when we're able to have bid organizations that are well run, that are thoughtful and considerate of community and also the businesses. I just really want to thank everyone who worked so hard to make this happen. And we look forward to being supportive of this effort. So thank you, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Green. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilman Bass. Will the clerk please call the next panel, please?
For our next panel, we have Courtney O'Neill, Irma Freilich, and Susanna Forjon.
Hi, I'm Courtney O'Neill. I just wanted to let you know that there's also Richard Snowden is here, and he's actually with me. His testimony should be included as well.
Okay.
Thank you. Good morning, Chairman Johnson and members of the Rules Committee. My name is Courtney O'Neill, and I'm the Executive Director for the Chestnut Hill Business Improvement District. I'm here to testify in support of Bill 230586, introduced in City Council on September 14th, 2023. This is the proposed ordinance that would formally continue the district until June 30th, 2034. I am, in addition to being the executive director of the Business Improvement District, we also manage the Business Association, the Parking Foundation, and the Community Development Corporation. I have been in this role since August 2022 and manage a staff that includes the corridor maintenance team, as well as the BID's part-time retail advocate and part-time operations administrator. My experience with Chestnut Hill prior to this employment was as a shopper and as a diner. And from that perspective, I viewed Chestnut Hill as a unique and charming destination, a special part of Philadelphia. Since starting last August, I have come to learn and appreciate what it takes to maintain the character and beauty of this historic neighborhood. For 20 years, the Business Improvement District has focused its efforts on the following priorities: safety, streetscape maintenance and beautification, strengthening the local economy through destination marketing and business development, and strategic collaboration with volunteer-led community groups, as well as neighboring institutions. Through this work, the BID has helped create a vibrant commercial corridor that positively impacts the surrounding residential neighborhood. And while much of the tangible improvements are centered along Germantown Avenue and Bethlehem Pike, the effects of these enhancements are felt throughout the community. The lampposts that line the avenue, the twinkle lights that fill the street trees, the baskets and barrels bursting with plantings, the sidewalks swept, the trash bins empty. All of that is maintained and made possible by the Chestnut Hill Business Improvement District. From the during the pandemic and the years that followed, the importance of the BID for Chestnut Hill was brought into sharp focus. In the spring of 2020, as the lockdown went into effect, the staff of the Chestnut Hill Business District became a vital resource for the small businesses facing uncertainty. The staff worked to support businesses by identifying grant opportunities, help with navigating government programs, as well as public and private assistance that was being made available for small business. As the summer and fall of 2020 progressed, the corridor maintenance team kept the commercial neighborhood clean and safe in the face of many challenges. Despite the best efforts, the pandemic did cause the closure of many businesses in the area, and this beloved stretch of Germantown Avenue was filled with vacant storefronts. But through the efforts of the BID retail advocate and strategic planning from the executive director and the BID board members, beginning in the fall of 2021, new retail, restaurants, and service businesses have started to once again fill those empty properties. To date, over 24 businesses have opened their doors in the Chestnut Hill Business District since September 2021. We are seeking reauthorization for 10 years to not only build on the momentum of the past 2 years of economic development, but to honor our mission of keeping Philadelphia's Garden District beautiful and green. Through collaboration with Chestnut Hill Garden District Fund and the Chestnut Hill Community Association's Green Space Initiative, the BID will continue the maintenance of current pocket parks as well as work on development of new green space, small parks, and family-friendly outdoor areas. This work not only contributes to the beauty of the neighborhood, but enhances the quality of life for residents. The bid also seeks to assist with safety challenges more robustly within the corridor, and with this reauthorization, that priority will be addressed in the allocation of the new budget. The projected annual income of the bid will total $460,000 from commercial and residential rental properties within the bid, which will include some additional adjacent commercial properties with this reauthorization. The assessment will continue to be equitably apportioned along all commercial properties within the district. There will be regular communication with all the assessment paying property owners on progress of initiatives, as well as the annual meeting to review our budget and strategic plans. I would like to thank Councilmember Cindy Bass, Chief of Staff Charles Richardson, and the Councilwoman's entire office, as well as Phil Green from the Department of Commerce and Jessica Sanchez, Senior Legislative Counsel, for all their support during this reauthorization process. And I'm happy to take any questions at this time. And I'd like to introduce Richard Snowden, if that's appropriate.
Councilman Cindy Bass.
Well, thank you again, Mr. Chairman. I just really wanted to thank Courtney. I know you said you had Richard there with you. Hi, Richard. I just really wanted to thank you guys. Oh, hey, there he is. There he is. Listen, good things don't just happen. It really requires the work of folks to make it happen. And I know that, Richard has been on the front lines and out there really making Chestnut Hill the destination that it is for a very long time, and Courtney as well. So I just really want to thank their entire team for pitching in, making this destination just such a wonderful place to live, to work, to shop, to go out to dine, and to really be something that's really legendary in the city of Philadelphia. So thank you both for all of your work.
Thank you. Will the clerk please call the next panelist?
I believe Mr. Snowden would like to speak next, correct?
Correct. Thank you very much. Good morning, Chairman Johnson and members of the Rules Committee. My name is Richard Snowden. For the past 43 years, I have been engaged in the development and management of commercial and residential properties in the Chestnut Hill section of Philadelphia, as well as natural resource and energy properties in other states. In 1981, with my grandmother and sisters, I founded Bowman Properties in response to the physical deterioration we saw occurring in our community, particularly in the middle and South Hill sections of Germantown Avenue. Chestnut Hill is a place our family knows very well and has deep affection for, having been a part of the community since 1871. To date, our company has acquired, rehabilitated, or is in the process of restoring 92 buildings, primarily in the Chestnut Hill Business District, encompassing 155 apartments, 80 commercial locations, including the relatively new Fresh Market Shopping Center complex. Over much of the past 75 years, Chestnut Hill has enjoyed a stellar reputation as one of the first communities in the nation to foster and promote a Main Street renaissance. During those years, the charming buildings along Germantown Avenue, our iconic parking lot system, and Chestnut Hill's vociferous organizations have made our community a model for commercial corridor success before smart growth and walkable communities were fashionable or even discussed. By the late 1990s, however, malls, the internet, and changing demographics had diminished Chestnut Hill's luster. Different strategies were required. Beginning in 1997, Bowman began advocating for the creation of a special services district. As many of you know well, in Chestnut Hill, change comes slowly, with much deliberation, occasional acrimony, and a heck of a lot of talk. 7 years later, our business improvement district was first created. The formation of the BID is almost important to our community's history as the coming of the railroads in the 19th century and the establishment of Chestnut Hill civic groups during the Renaissance of the 1940s, because its dedicated funding stream allows the neighborhood to intelligently plan community initiatives. Even with a relatively small budget, our BID is a superb catalyst that fosters partnerships leading to safety, beautification, improvements, and most importantly, our vibrant retail recruitment program that has resulted in dozens of new businesses opening and flourishing on Germantown Avenue, despite the advent of online shopping. Without doubt, the bid has helped to improve more than just the business community. As a real estate professional for more than 40 years with a particular expertise in Chestnut Hill, I can say unequivocally that the bid and resulting improvements along Germantown Avenue translate directly to increased real estate values community-wide, particularly in properties in the several blocks adjacent to Germantown Avenue in the area where we propose to expand our district. Going forward with an expanded district and budget, we have many opportunities through matching grants in concert with other community and public partners to tackle infrastructure challenges such as streetscape improvements, beautification projects, and safety initiatives. Our bid, though, is more than just dollars. It is now stitched into the very fabric of our neighborhood as a body that helps bring everyone together for the community's betterment right at the heart of the hill on our Main Street, where we certainly hope we'll see all of you very soon, shopping, dining, or living on beautiful Germantown Avenue. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments from members of the committee? Councilman Bass, any comments?
Well, I just want to say very well said, Richard. Both you and Courtney have done a phenomenal job this morning, and I'm looking forward to supporting, and I'm sure that all of my colleagues will stand in strong support for the great work that you all do. So kudos to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the members of the committee? Will the clerk please call the next panelist?
Next, we have Irma Freilich or Susanna Forjon.
Councilman Chairman Johnson, I apologize that both Irma Freilich and Susanna Forjon have had difficulty getting online. So I do have a printed testimony which I submitted to Councilwoman Bass's office.
Awesome. Okay, Councilman Bass, can you just provide copies for the chair so we can provide the other members just for their records, please?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for your testimony. Will the clerk please call the next panel for bill number 230628?
For 230628, we have Philip Green and Job Itzkowitz.
Philip, please state your name for the record, beginning your testimony.
Hello, Philip Green. I am testifying in support of bill number 230628 to improve the Old City Special Services District's 2024 through 2028 plan and budget, and allow the SSD to continue to levy property assessment fees. The Commerce Department supports business improvement districts like Old City as a way for property owners, business owners, and community members to work together to address local concerns. Old City District formed in 1997 as a way for property owners to fund revitalization efforts in one of Philadelphia's most historic neighborhoods. Over the course of 25 years, the SSD's sidewalk cleaning and safety services have encouraged businesses to fill long vacant storefronts and convinced developers to convert empty upper floors into residential units and offices. Its busy calendar of events have delighted tourists and regional visitors, and its vigilant advocacy has shifted the district's nightlife scene from a rowdy club district to a mix of bars and restaurants that coexist nicely with their surroundings. Despite these many triumphs, Old City District stabilizing work remains vital. Since 2020, media outlets have printed discouraging headlines on the state of U.S. cities like Philadelphia. Old City District has experienced many of the same challenges facing other urban districts. Online sales have chipped off some of its galleries and retail stores, and perceptions of increased crime have discouraged suburbanites from visiting. But overwhelmingly, the neighborhood remains stable under Old City District's management. The SSD maintains public spaces against blight and markets the district and produces family-friendly events that counter public misconceptions. It's no exaggeration to say that Old City District and Philadelphia's other 13 business improvement districts, that without Old City District and the city's 13 business improvement districts, the worst urban decline headlines might have come true. Old City District has shepherded its area through various phases since 1997. With the support of this committee, it will once again adapt the district to meet the needs of the future. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. Will Job Ickwood state your name for the record and please begin your testimony.
Good morning, Chairperson Johnson and all members of the Committee on Rules. My name is Job Itzkowitz, and I'm the Executive Director of the Old City Special Services District, or OCD. I'm here to testify on Bill number 230628, approving a new plan, estimated cost, and proposed method of assessment of OCD for the 5-year term lasting from 2024 to 2028. I've submitted longer written testimony outlining the details of OCD's proposed 5-year plan and budget, but I will try to be brief in my testimony today. Now in its 25th year, OCD continues to maintain and improve the dynamic Old City neighborhood. OCD serves to supplement, but not replace, both the services provided by the City of Philadelphia and the responsibilities of property owners, contributing to a healthy environment for businesses to be successful, for visitors to enjoy their experience here, and for residents to maintain a positive quality of life. The 5-year plan and budget charts Old City District's path through budget years 2024 through 2028. The OCD board will continue to devote resources to deliver the following services: providing clean and safe public spaces. Keeping Old City's streets clean and safe is central to OCD's mission and is the foundation of its programming. To achieve this, OCD employs a dedicated team of up to 6 ambassadors responsible for street and sidewalk cleaning deployed daily. OCD collaborates with its current cleaning vendor to engage returning citizens as ambassadors. Over 80% of these ambassadors have a previous mark on their records. Our ambassadors play a crucial role in enhancing the City of Philadelphia's cleanliness and aiding property owners in maintaining litter-free and debris-free sidewalks. In 2022, OCD's cleaning crew collected nearly 17,000 pounds of trash, removed over 700 used needles, and eliminated more than 600 graffiti tags and stickers. Moreover, weather permitting, sidewalks receive a thorough power washing on a monthly basis. OCD also maintains a strong partnership with the city to address various urban challenges. This includes fixing broken Big Belly trash receptacles, combating illegal dumping, addressing non-operating streetlights, and rectifying hazardous potholes and road conditions. We also expand economic opportunities via business attraction, retention, and expansion. Building on its clean and safe programs, OCD fosters a positive environment for local businesses and connects its business owners and residents to city, state, nonprofit, and private resources. OCD distributes a monthly real estate newsletter to neighborhood commercial brokers, which features available retail, restaurant, and office spaces, as well as new business openings and an Old City data infographic. OCD helps new and existing Old City businesses navigate City of Philadelphia permitting and licensing processes and connects them with funding resources such as storefront improvement grants, business security camera grants, and stabilization grants. In 2016, OCD published Vision 2026, an initiative to shape Old City's future after a year-long public engagement process. OCD later conducted a Market Street transformation and mobility study to improve access to Old City while reducing private vehicle usage, aligning with the Vision 2026 concept. The city adopted that project and is set to issue an RFP for Market Street early in 2024. Old City continues to rebound from the COVID-19 pandemic. In November 2019, retail vacancy was at 12%, in line with the national average for similar commercial corridors. By December 2020, due to the pandemic, it had risen to 20%. In other words, 1 out of every 5 storefronts was vacant. In 2022, OCD aimed to return to a 12% vacancy rate by the end of this year. In the last 2 years, 61 new businesses have opened, with about 10 more opened in 2023, and the retail vacancy as recently as July of 2023 was under 15% and continues to drop. Additionally, Old City's residential population grew by 27% from 2017 to 2021, from 5,400 to 6,900 residents. Over 800 more units are planned, expected to adding about 1,200 residents. OCD generally supports development and growth aligned with Old City's historical context. Finally, Old City District provides marketing and promotional services for Old City and its business community. Throughout the year, OCD engages in ongoing marketing efforts to showcase the neighborhood as a vibrant hub for people to connect, work, shop, and call home, with the aim of spotlighting the neighborhood's exceptional attributes, such as its rich history, thriving arts and culture scene, diverse shopping options, dining experiences, accommodations, and residential opportunities. OCD's promotional activities include the publication of a map with 50,000 copies printed in 2023, aimed at enticing visitors to explore the district. OCD maintains an informative website dedicated to all things Old City, distributes a monthly e-newsletter to over 7,000 subscribers, and actively connects with a wider audience through social media followers of over 68,000 individuals. In addition, OCD organizes various programs and events throughout the year. These include the annual Old City Fest, which attracts 20,000 attendees, Old City Eats, our summertime dining promotion, and our eagerly anticipated annual holiday programming set to kick off in just a few weeks. This is just a sampling of the work OCD does to promote and support the Old City neighborhood, and a more detailed breakdown is available in both my submitted written testimony and OCD's proposed 5-year plan, a copy of which is attached as an exhibit to the legislation. Old City District mailed this 5-year plan and budget to affected property owners within OCD's boundaries in July of this year and hosted a public meeting on August 23rd at the Independence Visitor Center to receive feedback from the public. Following the hearing, affected property owners within the district had 45 days to file objections to and disapprove the final plan for proposed continuance of the OCD. No affected property owners filed objections or disapprovals of the proposed plan with Old City District. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, Joe. I just have a small question. How much do the ambassadors receive? What's the pay rate for the ambassadors who may be looking to do that type of work?
Sure. So we are currently starting at $16.50, and we provide, after your 90 days, we provide 100% coverage of health benefits. What we determined was that, when you're working an hourly wage job, you might not make that decision even if your healthcare is covered 80% to close that gap. So we created that as a stipend to make sure, these people are out on the street working physical labor jobs every day, and we wanted to make sure that if something were to happen, they would be able to receive medical care.
That's good. I think that's great, especially after us coming out of the pandemic, and some people are still catching COVID from time to time. So Good job. Any other questions or comments from members of the committee? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the next panel for bill number 230630?
The first panel for 230630, we have Kelvin Jeremiah, Gregory Hampson, Lawrence Redican, and Nathan Ferris.
Mr. Kelvin Jeremiah?
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes.
Nathan Ferris with the law firm of Ballard Spahr, and I'm here today on behalf of the Philadelphia Housing Authority to speak in favor of bill number 230630. And I have with me Mr. Kelvin Jeremiah and Greg Hampson. Greg Hampson is PHA's Senior Executive Vice President of Capital Projects Division, and he will explain why PHA is requesting this bill to help it develop much-needed affordable housing in the Strawberry Mansion neighborhood. Also with me is Larry Redican, PHA's General Counsel. After Greg explains the project and the bill, Larry and I are happy to answer any questions you may have about the acquisition process.
Thank you very much. Greg, state your name for the record and please begin.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Greg Hampson. I'm the Senior Executive Vice President, Capital Project Division of the Philadelphia Housing Authority. I'm here today to request that this committee report bill number 230630 out of committee favorably. Philadelphia is in the midst of an affordable housing crisis. PHA continues to work to alleviate this crisis by developing safe, affordable housing throughout the city. To this end, PHA is planning a redevelopment project in the Strawberry Mansion neighborhood. The Strawberry Mansion project is expected to result in the development of new affordable housing, including 30 affordable home ownership units and 55 rental units. Bill number 230630 authorizes PHA to acquire more than 100 scattered site properties around the neighborhood, generally between 29th Street to the east, 28th Street to the west, West Cumberland Street to the north, and West York Street to the south. Some of the properties that are expected to be included in this project are already owned by PHA or the city. However, PHA's initial investigation identified 83 of these properties as privately owned. PHA's initial investigation also shows that 8 of these privately owned properties are occupied. The remainder of the properties considered for acquisition are vacant, undeveloped lots. We are finalizing the details of how the project will be developed. We are, though, excited about the Strawberry Mansion project. It will allow us to build 85 units of affordable housing. Any displacement and relocation will be carried out with sensitivity in accordance with federal, state, and city regulations and policy. PHA is complying with all federal, state, local laws and regulations to assure displaced persons are compensated for their costs to relocate and owners are paid fair market value for their property. PHA has already begun neighbor outreach to the affected property owners. We invited them to this meeting today, and we may hear from some of them later. We will continue to work with the owners and other community leaders to make sure this project is shaped in a way so as to be most helpful to the community. We are grateful for the feedback they have already given and for the guidance of Council President Clark in helping us engage with the community. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions and thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments from members of the committee? Okay, hearing none. Will the clerk please call the next panel?
The next panel we have is Keith Harris and Odessa Tate.
Is Keith Harris and Odessa Tate available? Is Keith Harris or Odessa Tate available?
Yes, I'm here, Odessa Tate.
Okay, Odessa, just state your name for the record and please begin your testimony.
Sure, my name is Odessa Tate. And the blocks proposed have mostly been vacant lot spaces for over 20 years. At this point, we are not opposed to having development on these blocks, but we needed to be understood that with any builds in our section of Strawberry Mansion, we emphasize and advocate for home ownership and outdoor amenities included to accommodate community members with this bill. This is the first development of this caliber that will be taking place in our community. We are excited to come together with PHA. We're also excited to have the community stakeholders come together because ultimately we want to make this a success for our area. Our area is dilapidated. It's been dilapidated 30 years. We want to be able to welcome people. We want to be able to develop. But again, our emphasis is on home ownership and building throughout. So we would appreciate it for PHA to, come to the table with us and also respect our wishes to make this the best outcome that we can make it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is Keith Harris available? Okay. Any other questions or comments from members of the committee? Is there anyone else here to testify on the bill whose name has not yet been called?
Oh. Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Council President Darrell Clark.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak on behalf of this development. And thank you, Ms. Tate. And we're still trying to track Keith Harris down, who's the actually local committee person for that area. So, Councilman, this is an area, as Ms. Tate has indicated, that's been vacant for literally 20, 30 years. I mean, we can recall, and it is one of the few remaining significant vacant parcels in this particular area. As you know, Strawberry Mansion is an area that, and I can acknowledge I've been focusing on because I'm born and bred there. This is a very, but as we see the market change, particularly the push from the southern side as it relates to market rate housing, and some would say gentrification, it is clear that wherever there's an opportunity, we need to continue to make this area affordable, particularly for those individuals that currently live in that neighborhood. So this project will be one that essentially will, for the first time in this particular neighborhood, the housing authority, and ultimately it may actually be another developer, and as was said, All in the Family, which is the local community group, will be a part of that process. We will be building a critical mass of affordable housing. And I want to say to you, Councilman, and other members of the committee, thanks to you all support for the Turn the Key program, this has finally made this a reality where you can go in a neighborhood and deeply subsidize development to make it genuinely affordable for people across the city of Philadelphia. So we're excited. This particular property is actually anchored by the Strawberry Square Mall. So it will be a significant boost to the Strawberry Square Mall is literally across the street on the northern side. And then there are some conversations currently with the Strawberry Square Mall for adding some additional amenities. And I think having literally 70 or 80 new housing units on its northern border will enhance the likelihood that we can add some additional commercial development in that area. So we, as a result of the meeting with the local individuals on that side of 29th Street, the local community organization, and also a process that will be adding some additional amenities, as Ms. Tate said, we strongly support this particular project. Thank you.
No, thank you, Council President. As always, I commend you on your work to address the issue of affordable and workforce housing, not only in the 5th Councilmatic District, but your vision for the city of Philadelphia. And obviously, I'm going to be having conversations, currently having conversations with Kelvin to take a look at how we provide a level of deep, affordable PHA housing in the southwest part of my district, as well as Grays Ferry, to balance out the level of high-income housing that's being developed right now. So thank you for your vision and your leadership, sir.
Thank you. Thank you,
Mr. Chair, Kelvin Jeremiah.
How you doing? Yes, sir.
Good morning, committee members. I'd like to just mention for the record that PHA builds balanced communities. And so, Ms. Tate, please be assured that we are eager to work with you to help develop and revitalize Strawberry Mansion. This will be one of our the 4th of our developments in the broader Strawberry Mansion area. And so we are committed to making sure that existing residents' voices are heard, and that the development that we build is balanced, that really adds value. Councilman Johnson, as you know, we have established a very solid record of success across the city. We are eager to get this project underway, and of course, when we look at Council President Clark's district, there is much more to be done there. And I know that how eager you are to replicate some of the things in your district and in other districts across the city. So we'd really appreciate your ongoing support and your support of this piece of legislation.
Well, thank you, Kelvin. And for me, what makes your type of development special and unique is that we're talking about really deeply affordable, and particularly, let's move even beyond the word affordable, low-income housing, which is severely needed. And so I do thank you for your efforts. The rentals will also help individuals who may not be ready at that particular time in their life to actually purchase a home, but they may go from renting to actually owning a home. And then a home ownership also provides individuals who are willing to already make that leap. And so the housing stock and availability of the houses will be there when they want that option. So I just want to just personally say thank you and your team, but also Council President, for laying out this overall vision to specifically focus on affordable workforce, but also low-income housing. I grew up in the Martin Luther King housing projects when my Nana did. And so I understand the dynamics around going from particularly low income to becoming an actual homeowner. And, different people are at different levels in their lives, and we need to have a mix of housing available for everyone. So thank you very much, Mr. Jeremiah. With that being said, any other questions or comments for this particular committee? Hearing none, we will now go into our public comments. And will the clerk please call the first individual with public comments, please? And the bill number.
Yep. Commenting on Bill 230630, we have Queen Judith Robinson.
Thank you very much. Ms. Judith Robinson, you can please go on and start your testimony.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. You can please begin your public comment.
Yes, good morning. My name is Judith Robinson. I have been licensed as a real estate professional since 1985. I've been a licensed Pennsylvania broker since 1990. I was born and raised in Strawberry Mansion. We need an investigation of PHA based on the fact that we're not being listened to. This project here has been closely held. You have people who will be relocated, who are homeowners. They're not going to get fair market value, and I say that based on what has happened with PHA being used as eminent domain and used now in this project as condemnation. So PHA is the tenant. It has tenants of 81,000, mostly black people, black women, and children. It is our income-based housing agency, our shelter. Black women, and here's the sad part, are 70% of Philadelphia yearly evictions. We're not even housing our own people. PHA board is mostly black people. They have, and it's been ongoing for decades now, okay? So sad, they've been used to take black folks' wealth. I'll cite the Lattimore family of South Philadelphia. Robert and his wife Barbara and family Lattimore. PHA was used to take over 13 or so properties. Don't hold me to the exact number, but I know it was over 10. And this was years ago. PHA is an agency that it pains me to say, based on its makeup of the board, even over the years, Mayor John Street as the chair, we saw a very concerning happening in Brewery Town with the Western Development, Pyramid Development, a subsidiary of Western Development, where they threw families out of occupied PHA properties. Good news, we were able to claw one back for the Harris family, and thank God they're over there in Brewery Town now as homeowners about 15 years later. So PHA has been devastating to our black families. That family had grown up in the property. They were just disrespectfully thrown out of the property, moved to West Philly. Like I said, we as a community clawed it back. But it was Judith Robinson, the real estate professional, that made sure that she became a homeowner. They became a homeowner over there. And I'm just happy that they're still there. So PHA went into receivership under Mayor John Street, came out of receivership under Mayor Nutter, and brought in Mr. Calvin Jeremiah. Let me get to the point. Under Mayor Nutter, PHA was used to use eminent domain over in Shawswood Brewery Town. And here's the thing that really pains me. 800 parcels, you all. Bill number 150409 will give you the map and will give you all of the 800 addresses. About 100 of those properties were occupied with black folk, okay, living in their properties. And PHA, a housing agency that's supposedly housing poor people, is using eminent domain to take homeowners' homes.
Yes,
That's
Queen
unprecedented,
Judith.
you all. Please, this is a hearing. Please let me, please.
Yes, ma'am.
So I am. I'm gonna get to my point, brother.
Yes, ma'am.
So here. So that was 800 parcels. And let me say this to you, because I'm a real estate professional. Right before COVID, I sold a property over in that area that would have been part of that eminent domain. And it sold for $150,000, y'all. It needed work and all of that, but it sold for $150,000. So what I'm saying is those people never get fair market value. PHA is being hustled and used in that regard, and they're not giving out fair market value. And I found that out after, the fact, 2015, 2019, when this house sold for $150,000. I match my numbers with y'all. Y'all ain't giving people that kind of money. So let me get to this. So Shawswood Brewery Town, the big scam there and I'm doing some research, so I'm going to say something real quick. Miller Memorial Baptist Church, there was an arsonist that tried to burn that church down, and I'm going to give y'all the quick story. Wait a minute, I'm getting to the point. Listen to me, please. So Bloomberg was then built. Can I have my testimony, please? I say no to this deal. No to this deal. No, because Council President Clark has been bullying his constituents. We have 69 units that's through a PHA process on York Street, all the way up our former commercial corridor to the park, 33rd Street, taking choice land. We got PHA all around our choice land from Cecil B. Moore on Ridge and Huntington, all the way to 33rd and Diamond. Then they took over Arlington Monument and put PHA there. So we are going to be laden with poverty for the next 100 years. So here's my demands, okay? Open your ears real loud because you're not listening to your constituents. Scattered sites. Our scattered sites, stop removing those whole long-term tenants out of scattered sites and let them buy those homes. They should be giving them homes, like the scattered site that I helped that lady buy in Brewery Town. We're demanding that you sell those houses. All those long-term tenants, 20, 30 years they've been in those houses, just a disgrace. We would like to have an analysis of your inventory, all your vacant land, and all your houses. And then we're demanding that HUD does an investigation of this particular transaction, because what I did is this. I do research, and I like to do a little research. This is a buyout. This is somebody's hookup, okay? And I'm not getting into anybody's business. I'm not getting into anybody's business, but I want to say this. I want to say this. Can I finish my testimony? Can I finish my testimony, please? Can I finish my testimony? You're Leighton, our Strawberry Mansion community, which my family home of 67 years is still there. My family still owns their home in Strawberry Mansion, so I'm speaking for my family, okay? We don't want to be Leighton. My mother and father gave us inheritance, okay, of a home that we still own 67 years later. So let's not, let me talk. Let's not have a stacked deck here like we're doing all over the place. Listen to your constituents. So 69 units up and down York Street. Then you're going to Leighton us with this PHA. I'm not getting in anybody's deal, but when you put PHA in the mix, there should be an investigation of this deal before it goes any farther. With that, I'll close. You want to have any comments?
Thank you very much for your testimony. We would like to call on Mr. Keith Harris.
Yeah, hello. Good morning, Councilman.
State your name for the record and begin your testimony.
My name is Keith Harris. And I would like to speak in support of Bill 230630. And the reason why, we need affordable housing. And as we see our neighborhoods, really actually the housing stock is being replenished back in our community. When we were growing up, we seen all families. So it was no abandoned lots, no empty houses. It was all families living in these houses. So now we're seeing a resurgence in the housing stock. So our community is not filled all with market rate housing. We need to support bills that really support affordable housing. I know some people say there's no such thing as affordable housing. Inflation has taken place on a monetary level, but I don't want to go into all that. So it seems like affordable housing, but they do have subsidies like PHA to help people in Section 8 to help people pay rent and assist them. So I think that we just can't say no and continue to say no to public housing and affordable housing. We have to somewhere draw the line and say, okay, we're the next generation, or at least me in my age group, at 62, we're the next generation being ushered out. So we have to make sure the people that come behind us have a place to live, and we just cannot keep denying and fighting. I understand Judith and other people sentiments about housing that's being rebuilt in our communities, and that has its place. But also the argument for affordable housing. has its place also. You know, we just can't, and I just like to leave here with, we just can't say no to all this construction, because before we know it, the developers will be in here and be all market rate and we be taxed out, just like other areas in the city has done in the past. So I'm supportive of this bill.
Thank you very much. Can we
Mr.
have the
Chairman,
next? Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I beg your indulgence.
Jeremiah, go ahead, sir.
I feel obligated to respond to the earlier comments made by Ms. Quinn Robinson.
Yes, sir.
First and foremost, let me just say that the PHA Ms. Robinson describes is not the PHA that exists today. And I cannot make any statements about what has happened 30, 40, 20 years ago. I can tell you that the PHA of today is one of the best run, best mission-driven public housing authorities in the country. It has been recognized as such from the Obama administration to the Biden administration. And we continue to make improvements on so many different policy objectives that we've established. I would also like to add that PHA has put, frankly, more black and browns in affordable home ownership than any other government agency in Philadelphia. And in fact, we have one of the best home ownership programs anywhere in the country. That's a simple, straightforward fact. We continue to do that every single year, moving folks from affordable rental housing into home ownership. As you correctly noted, folks have to be prepared and be ready. And that's one of the reasons, frankly, that we don't see any foreclosures in the folks that we've put into home ownership. Secondly, Mr. Chair, PHA is offering occupied homeowners the first opportunity to relocate in the home ownership units that we will be building. It's their choice to whether or not they want to relocate into the new development and buy one of those and be into one of the new home ownership units, or if they want to get fair market value for the property and move elsewhere. We are obligated. Let me emphasize this again. We are federally obligated to pay fair market value for any property that we acquire. It's a simple fact. And where there are discrepancies, where there are disagreements in terms of what that value is, there's a well-established process that we adhere to come to that agreement. And that has been the case for every one of those actions that we've taken. With respect to our work in Blumberg, Shawswood area, I will dare say that it speaks for itself. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Next, we're going to have on public comment Ms. Sherry Brown on Resolution 230630. Sherry Brown, are you available? Is anyone else here to testify whose name has not yet been called?
Mr. Chair, I believe it might just be one moment for
Your call has
council
been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 2154.
It seems we may have lost Ms. Sherry Brown, Mr. Chair.
Okay, is there anyone else here to testify whose name has not yet been called? Any other questions or comments of members of the committee? Hearing none,
I'm calling Sherry in now.
Okay, thank you, Darian.
Hello.
Yes, how you doing, Miss Sherry Brown?
Yes, this is Sherry Brown.
Yes, state your name for the record and please begin your testimony.
Yes, my name is Sherry Brown, and I'm calling to.
Miss Sherry Brown?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Just turning on your TV in the background.
Okay. Yes, my name is Sherry Brown, and I'm calling in reference to bill number 230630. I'm calling today because once again I am very disappointed in the way this process is taking place. When I was looking at the bill and it has simple fee simple title, and it says the owner has the right to give away property, and that's what's happening in Strawberry Mansion. The property is being given away by the city of Philadelphia. Okay, there's been, which is actually has not been a friend to Strawberry Mansion. Okay, when it comes to hearing what the residents of this community say that they need, no one listens to that. Everybody wants to tell us what they think that we should need. We want to get away from, valuable property. You're basically, giving away valuable property without any meetings with the community, none that I know about. And I've been a resident of Strawberry Mansion for 67 years. Okay? And you're going to do this, and you're not really asking us how is it going to benefit us. Okay? The other thing is that you're going to be moving people due to eminent domain. You'll be moving people. Have you asked these people where they want to go or what type of housing they want to live in now? If you move them out of that area. The other thing, too, is you have Gordon Street. Okay, PHA has houses on Gordon Street. PHA wants to put houses along York Street from 33rd Street. So I will be surrounded by people with low income affordable housing, which I personally have nothing against those people. But what about home ownership? The last time PHA and Penrose came and they wanted to do this in our area, we fought against them. And Habitat for Humanity came in and they're building new homes for home ownership up above Diamond Street. Okay, and that's in the area where Keith is at. You're not down here where we are at, okay? So you don't have to contend with that. What about home ownership? That's the way that we need to go, affordable home ownership, okay? They had a meeting about the houses on York Street. The community was at that meeting at Strawberry Mansion High School. We agreed against it. And the next thing we hear is somebody from the CDC talking about, yes, this is what we wanted. No, that's not what we want. And I think it's disgraceful that the city of Philadelphia City Council continues to go along with areas like this. We've already been discriminated against. You want to bring more police density into this neighborhood. And it's just horrible how you all feel like we should be, that we should be treated, that we deserve to be treated like that. I think it's totally unfair, and I'm totally against this project. PHA, if you want to do home ownership, do home ownership. Don't continue to come into Strawberry Mansion and destroy it. Help us build it up. Help us build up the way that people, the way that we just want to live. I can't even walk to my corner store now. Okay, do something in the neighborhood to help us. Okay, not just to survive, but to thrive. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Is anyone else here to testify whose name has not yet been called? Any other questions and comments from members of the committee? Hearing none, I want to thank all the witnesses for their participation today. We value your input. I now invite all panels of witnesses to please disconnect from the meeting before we go into our public meeting. We will now pause the proceedings briefly as multiple participants leave the hearing. This concludes the public hearing of the committee. We will now convene a public meeting to consider the action to be taken on the bills before this committee today. Will the clerk please call the roll to take attendance? Members that are in attendance will please indicate that they are present when their names are called. Also, please say a few brief words when responding so that your image will be displayed on screen when you speak.
Vice Chair Mark Squilla.
Good morning, Council Chair and colleagues present.
Councilmember Cindy Bass.
Good morning. Still, I'm present.
And Councilmember Catherine Gilmore Richardson.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, colleagues. I am present.
Good morning. And what about Councilman O'Neill? Is he available?
I believe he may have dropped off the hearing, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Thank you. We will now go into our public meeting. The clerk, the chair recognizes Councilman Mark Squilla for a motion on bill number 230547.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the bill number 230547 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended as to permit the first reading of this bill at the next session of council.
Second.
The chair notes for the record that Councilwoman Cindy Bass seconds the motion, and it's been moved and properly seconded that bill number 230547 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Opposed? Ayes have it, and the motion carries. The chair recognizes Councilman Mark Squilla for a motion on the amendment to bill number 230574.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I offer an amendment to bill number 230574. A copy of the amendment has been circulated to all members of the committee. I move that the amendment to bill number 230574 be approved.
Second.
The chair notes for the record that Councilwoman Cindy Bass seconds the motion and has been moved and properly seconded that the amendment to bill number 230574 be approved. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. The motion carries. The amendment to bill number 230574 has been approved. The chair recognizes Councilman Mark Squilla for a motion on bill number 230574 as amended.
You're mute, Mark. Mark, you're muted.
Mark.
Oh, sorry about that. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the bill number 230574 as amended be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended as to permit this first reading of this bill at the next session of council.
Second.
The chair notes for the record that Councilmember Cindy Bass seconds the motion and has been moved and properly seconded that bill number 230574 as amended be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion carries. The chair recognizes Councilman Mark Squilla for a motion on the amendment to bill number 238578.
Bill number 230578. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I offer an amendment to bill number 230578. A copy of the amendment has been circulated to all members of the committee. I move that the amendment to bill number 230578 be approved.
Second.
The chair notes for the record that Councilwoman Cindy Bass seconds the motion. It has been moved and properly seconded that the amendment to bill number 230578 be approved. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion carries. The chair recognizes Councilman Mark Squilla for a motion on bill number 230578 as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the bill number 230578 as amended be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended as to permit the first reading of this bill at the next session of council.
Second.
The chair notes for the record that Councilmember Cindy Bass seconds the motion and has been moved and properly seconded that bill number 230578 as amended be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion carries. The chair recognizes Councilman Mark Squilla for a motion on bill number 230579.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that bill number 230579 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended and submit the first reading of this bill to the next session of council.
Second.
The chair notes for the record that Councilwoman Cindy Bass seconds the motion. It has been moved and properly seconded that bill number 230579 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion carries. The chair recognizes Councilman Mark Squilla for a motion on bill number 230585.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that bill number 230585 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended. That is to permit the first reading of this bill at the next session of council.
Second.
The chair notes for the record that Councilmember Cindy Bass seconds the motion and has been moved and properly seconded that bill number 230585 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion carries. The chair recognizes Councilman Mark Squilla for a motion on bill number 230586.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that bill number 230586 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended and submit the first reading of this bill at the next session of council.
Second.
The chair notes for the record that Councilmember Cindy Bass seconds the motion. It has been moved and properly seconded that bill number 230586 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion carries. The chair recognizes Councilman Mark Squilla for a motion on bill number 230626.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that bill number 230626 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended and submit the first reading of this bill at the next session of council.
Second.
The chair notes for the record that Councilmember Cindy Bass seconds the motion. It has been moved and properly seconded that bill number 230626 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the motion carries. The chair recognizes Councilman Mark Squilla for a motion on bill number 230627.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that bill number 230627 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended and submit the first reading of this bill to the next session of council.
Second.
The chair notes for the record that Councilmember Cindy Bass seconds the motion and has been moved and properly seconded that bill number 230627 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the motion carries. The chair recognizes Councilman Mark Squilla for a motion on bill number 230628.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that bill number 230628 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended as submit the first reading of this bill at the next session of council.
Second.
The chair notes for the record that Councilmember Cindy Bass seconds the motion. It has been moved and properly seconded that bill number 230628 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it, and the motion carries. The chair recognizes Councilman Mark Squilla for a motion on bill number 230629.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that bill number 230629 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended and submit the first reading of this bill at the next session of council.
Second.
The chair notes for the record that Councilmember Cindy Bass seconds the motion. It has been moved and properly seconded that bill number 230629 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the motion carried. The chair recognizes Councilman Mark Squilla for a motion on bill number 230630.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the bill number 230630 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended and submit the first reading of this bill at the next session of council.
Second.
The chair notes for the record that Councilman Cindy Bass seconds the motion and has been moving properly seconded that bill number 230630 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye, aye.
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 Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the motion carries. The chair recognizes Councilman Mark Squilla for a motion on bill number 230650.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the bill number 230650 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended and submit the first reading of this bill at the next session of council.
Second.
The chair notes for the record that Councilmember Cindy Bass seconds the motion and has been moving properly seconded that bill number 230650 will be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye, aye.
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 Opposed, the ayes have it, and the motion carries. For the record, we are holding bill number 230651 at the request of the sponsor. I want to thank everybody for taking time out of their busy schedule and being a part of this hearing today. And I also want to say, go Eagles and let's go Phillies. This concludes the business before the Rules Committee today. Thank you, everybody, for in attendance. That was a good game last night. So.
Yes. Let's get another one tonight. Thank you, Chair.
Let's get another one tonight, y'all. Thank y'all for y'all participation.
Thank you.
Take care. Have a good night.
Take care.